nonprofit organizations. Alyssa Morgan. This is my completed Week 2 assignment for Business 206, Introduction to Nonprofit and Voluntary Organizations. So for this assignment, I'll first discuss the purpose of nonprofit organizations and the difference between nonprofits and government agencies and for-profits. Then I'll define what a mission and vision statement are and how important they are to a nonprofit success. And I'll talk about the importance of the mission when it comes to the decision making and planning, including the programs and services being offered. The nonprofit organization I chose to research for today's assignment is UNICEF USA. I will be providing the actual mission and vision statements for UNICEF, and I'll be talking about how the organization appears to be driving its planning and decision making around its mission, including how it operates and what type of initiatives, programs, and services it's offering. So what is a nonprofit? How did they come to be? They are very different and distinct from government and for-profit sectors. And as Worth noted in his text, many theorists believe that the nonprofit sector exists as a direct result from market or government failure. And so nonprofits here are just filling the gap left by or sometimes caused by the market or government. Reason being, the market often does not work well for the poor or those in need. And then the government is really elected to focus on the most pressing concerning issues that are facing the majority. So the failure theory is just saying, okay, nonprofits are being created because we have to fill these gaps. Nonprofits are known to be mission driven. They are driven by their mission, and that is one of the fundamental differences between for-profit, nonprofit, and government organizations. So it's not to say that for-profit and government organizations don't have a mission. Government agencies have missions, but many of their employees dedicate themselves to those missions, but they're controlled by elected officials. And those elected officials don't have the ability to respond to the diverse societies they serve. So over time, government doesn't meet those expectations outside of the current majority that elected them. And then for for-profit, they have missions as well that a lot of their employees are driven by, but really cannot or can put revenue before mission, whereas nonprofits cannot put or sacrifice mission for revenue. So revenue earned for nonprofits has to be reinvested into the organization in such a way that it shows it's continuing to work towards and deliver on its mission. So here we have mission and vision defined per the Worth text. Mission, this is the reason the organization exists. It's the purpose of that specific nonprofit. And then the vision is the description of an ideal future, either for the organization, the internal vision statement, or of society, that external vision statement. And the vision is really what could aspire to be if this nonprofit fulfills its mission. So internally, these statements should inspire and motivate staff and volunteers. They should really be buying into the mission and vision. Externally, it should inspire and generate support and then communicate the goals and aspirations of the organization. All right, while nonprofits are operated in some ways much different than for-profit and government organizations, they still do need to plan and build strategies to reach their goals. And the mission here plays an extremely important role during planning and should be incorporated in an organization's planning and decisions from start to finish. If the mission isn't considered during all stages of planning, the organization could find itself creeping away from the mission, and that's called mission creep. Ways to avoid mission creep include creating clear processes for decision making when it comes to strategy and goal setting, making sure that everyone involved understands the mission, values, goals at hand, and then ensuring that no one is making rash decisions that aren't well thought out. Above all, always guide decisions based on mission. And that goes for programs and services as well. In order to meet those goals, there's initiatives, programs, and services, right? And those need to be essential to the mission and responsive to the organization's environment. So here is where I'm going to get into talking about UNICEF USA specifically, their mission and their vision. First, I'll tell you, UNICEF stands for the United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund, and UNICEF USA is actually a branch of a larger UNICEF organization. It's global. Now, UNICEF's mission is helping every child thrive all over the world. And it incorporates the three things Birkenhoff believes makes an effective mission statement. It is short, it is concise, and it's inspiring, and leaves those who stumble across it looking to learn more about the organization. The vision here is a better world for children everywhere. And you can see that this is what could be, this could be what aspires to be if UNICEF is able to deliver on its mission. So UNICEF USA states it supports the global mission of UNICEF by rallying the American public to support the world's most vulnerable children. So by doing this, it's accepting donations from the public through their site, as well as through other events or initiatives, and then also accepting donations through strategic collaboration with large corporate partners such as American Airlines, Google, the IKEA Foundation, and many more. And these funds are then put towards the initiatives I'm going to talk about in the next slide. Before I move on, though, I have to state that every dollar spent, so every dollar UNICEF spends after it takes it in, 88 cents of that goes directly towards helping children. The remaining amount is accounted for fundraising efforts and costs, and then those administrative costs. So that is a great percentage as far as revenue towards mission. It shows to me that they are really focused on reinvesting in the mission and making sure that the majority of the money spent outside of operating costs and fundraising costs are going directly towards helping children thrive. So who is UNICEF? Who do they serve, really? UNICEF serves children everywhere. That's what they're saying. And that is a large group facing so many factors that lend to how well they can thrive, right? So after researching a bit, I found UNICEF has an expansive list of programs and services focused around specific initiatives such as saving lives, building futures, and emergency relief. And underneath those initiatives, I found some examples that I can share with you that fall into those categories. So under saving lives, COVID-19, this is the COVID-19 response as far as UNICEF and what they were able to do. UNICEF provided 6 metric tons of medical supplies to the front lines, and they helped reach 2.7 billion people with COVID-19 prevention and education messaging. And this messaging was specifically tailored for children and the people and communities that surround those children. So still bringing it back to helping children. Building futures, 2 pieces I pulled out here. Child trafficking. UNICEF helps bring awareness to the risk factors associated with child trafficking, such as poverty and discrimination, and then advocates for change. On the education front, they help provide funding for education and academic supplies to those children in need. For emergency relief, child refugees, UNICEF creates safe spaces for children to learn and play and receive other needed support. And then food crisis here I have as well. They're supplying the needed food and nutrition to children who need them. And they do that through the help of some of their partners. And now, do the program and services offered support UNICEF USA's mission? So I personally believe yes, they do. Why? Here I pulled this right from their site, but together they've helped save more children's lives than any other humanitarian organization. And by fundraising and their advocacy efforts, UNICEF has been able to fund the work it does in more than 190 countries and territories across the world. And here is the works cited and references for today's assignment.